Hey, Mr. Murphy here. We're going to talk about the first step of cellular respiration, which is glycolysis. Now, just as a quick recap, the whole point of cellular respiration is to produce cellular energy, usable energy in the form of ATP. Now, that comes from food molecules like glucose that are getting broken down. So in glycolysis, this actually happens in the cytoplasm, not inside of the mitochondria. And what's occurring is the glucose, large 6-carbon molecule, is being broken down into something called pyruvate. Now, in that process, we're releasing some of that energy in the form of ATP. You see down here at the bottom that glycolysis makes 2 ATP. And also, and probably more importantly, we're producing an energy-carrying molecule called NADH. So on this next page here, we see the actual process of glycolysis. Now right away, that's a lot of information, but don't worry, we don't have to memorize that. Instead, similar to things we've seen in the past, we just want you to understand that what's happening is a multi-step process of chemically changing and reacting and altering this molecule of glucose into something that's more usable by the mitochondria itself, in this case pyruvate. So we're taking a 6-carbon glucose and we're going to break it into 2 pyruvate molecules. And every single one of these arrows is a chemical reaction happening. Some important things to note here though. Right at the beginning, glycolysis actually requires energy. It's kind of like the saying, it takes, you gotta spend money to make money, or it takes money to make money, whatever the saying is. But the point is that it takes energy in order to make energy. So you gotta put some energy in order to get more energy out. It's kind of like how you have to light a match in order to light a candle. But then over the whole course of the candle's life, it's gonna release a lot more energy than that match contained. So in this case, we're putting some ATP in order to help break down the glucose. And in the process of breaking down that glucose, we're going to end up with some NADH and also 2 more ATP for each half of the glucose. So what that means is you put 2 ATP in and you break that into 2 3-carbon molecules that are going to each release 2 ATP. So short version, you put 2 ATP in, you get 4 out, which means you've made 2 ATP total in that process, and a couple NADHs, which are energy-carrying molecules. So that's glycolysis. It's going to hand those products over to the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain, where we'll see what happens next. Hope that helps.